Okay, so I think we'll make a start. Uh, so my name's Tom, and I'm the International Officer for the Middle East and Africa here at the University of Hertfordshire. And today I'm going to be going over details regarding postgraduate placement opportunities at our university. I'll be going over 9 main points, each of which I'll give an overview on. You can see those on your screen now. So first off, what courses offer a placement at our university? So there's 3 schools of study which offer placements, and they are the Hertfordshire Business School, the School of Engineering and Computer Science, although at the moment it's just computer science related courses that offer placement postgraduate courses, and the School of Humanities. As I understand it, the university is always looking expanding our portfolio of courses offering placement years. However, at the moment, these are your current options. They do cover a really broad area and address key subject areas that our students are most often interested in. Subjects like international business, which you can see there, have always been popular with our university, as well as computer science and its various specialities. But we also do have newer courses like international relations, which is really starting to give students a more varied choice of a postgraduate course that involves placement. All of these courses are 2-year courses, and they're all September starting courses. They're also all very popular, largely due to the placement aspect. So it's really important to ensure you make the best application possible, having a really good personal statement, and there's guidance for all of that on our website and various social media channels. So why do a placement year? So I think at any level of study, placement years are actually a really good idea. To be honest, it's one of the things I really regret not doing in my time at university. It opens up so many more opportunities to students, both academically and in terms of life experience. So, for example, if you've come straight from to postgraduate study from bachelor's study, it gives you a chance to experience the world of work for the first time. It means you can apply academic theory into practice, and you can show off to your employers. So placements are a really good way to make a good first impression on a company. So there's a chance that they might even offer you work once you've graduated, or if not, it at least puts you on a company's radar, as they'll be able to see what a hardworking employee that you could be on a permanent basis. Also, if you're looking to work in the UK after graduation, it's a really good, with the upcoming post-study work visa, having a UK employer on your CV as a reference can really help you secure that position. This is a really good chance to get that reference, as that reference will reassure any potential future employers in the UK that you're a strong employee, and it will give you an edge over other candidates that might be looking for the same roles as you are. So how does it work? So there's a number of important things you need to consider when opting for the placement route. There is an academic requirement, so you need to achieve an overall of 60% so far in your studies. So that's in semester A and B, you need an overall of 60%, and you must also not have failed any of your modules. Your placement must also be complementary to your course. So, for example, if you're doing international tourism and hospitality management, we would expect that you're doing a placement within that sector. And all of these placements that you would be looking to undertake would have to be signed off by our careers and employment team. So it's up to the careers and employment team to assess that the timescale of your placement fits in with the university's timescale, and it is sufficiently complementary to your learning and your course. Another thing that the careers and employment team will look at is how long your placement is due to be. So to fulfill the requirements of the placement year, you must complete a minimum of 30 weeks full-time employment. So full-time employment is considered as 35 hours plus per week. And you must also complete some related modules to your work placement at our university, which includes things like reports relating to your work experience or your placement. Unlike other universities, there are no costs to undertaking our placement years. You will only be paying for 1 year of fees, and the placement year is covered by your Tier 4 visa, so you don't need to apply for any additional work visas as you would normally if you were just coming to the UK for work. So again, this really gives you that opportunity to gain that UK work experience without having to go through all of the processes of gaining work visas and things like that, which really puts you in a good place. So when will you do your placement? So this is fairly self-explanatory. So all of the placement courses are September start courses, and the placement is allocated between semester B and semester C. So semester A and B are the semesters where you'll be undertaking the majority of your modules. So that's where you'd have a majority of your lectures and your tutorials, and that runs usually from September through till May. Then you've got your placement year allocation. So you'll have a year to do that. Like I said in the last slide, you need a minimum of 30 weeks, but of course, I'd absolutely recommend try to find a placement with as much time in it as possible to really make the most out of that placement year. And then after you finish your placement and you come back to us for semester C, which will start in May and run through to September, that is your dissertation or final project semester. So your placement year really gives a really good start to your dissertation. So you've got a bit more time to think about ideas. And it also gives you a chance to get good dissertation material. You might be inspired on your placement to certain topics relating back to your course, and you can revolve your dissertation or final project around your placement. So where can you do your placement? So our careers team suggests that you do your placement in the UK, and this is for a number of reasons. Firstly, we want you to experience both working and studying in the UK. This is the primary reason that these courses have been developed, for you to experience working in the UK environment, and again, gaining those all important references. And secondly, completing your placement abroad can have implications on your visa, particularly if you're planning on completing a placement in a country that isn't your home country or the UK. And so if you were considering options outside the UK, it would be best to get in touch with our careers team for further details on what visa conditions or implications that would bring. So most placements are paid. We would always advise students to undertake paid placements. The primary reason being is that if you undertook a non-paid placement, you would still need to support yourself financially. There would unfortunately be no financial aid from the university. However, like I say, most placements are paid, and this is something that's also pushed by our careers team on campus, who can help you find placements. They're a big advocate for paid placements as well, so this shouldn't be a big issue. It is hard to suggest how much placements will pay, as this depends largely on the employer and also potentially any previous work experience that you've had, and also the type of industry that you're going into. The best thing to do is to do some research early. So you could go on websites like LinkedIn or Indeed, and search for various placement roles, and that will give you a really good, clear idea of what sort of salaries students are able to gain on placement years. We do have a minimum hourly wage in the UK, which is differentiated by age. So you can get an idea of what you'd be getting as a bare minimum. And there's some figures on the screen now of our minimum hourly rate for 21 to 24-year-olds and then over 25-year-olds. So you can gauge an idea of how much you'd be earning per month. Of a minimum wage, I think it would be around £1,200 per month. And again, 35 hours per week as a minimum is what you'd expect for a full-time job. So what happens if you don't unfortunately secure a placement? So securing a placement can be tough. So don't be too hard on yourself if it doesn't work out. I will be going over in a minute the ways in which we can help you get a placement. So there's no need to worry. There are dates that you need to secure your placement by in the academic year, and these dates do vary from course to course. So that's not something I'll be outlining in this webinar, because there are, a whole host of courses with different dates that you need to have secured that by. But it will be made very clear to you when you're in the process of joining your course, when you need to secure that placement by. If you don't secure a placement, you'll be transferred to the 2-year alternative course. So that is the advanced research route, where instead of completing a placement and placement related modules and reports, you will instead be undertaking advanced research modules. This means you'd retain your visa to stay in the UK for 2 years to fulfill your course. If you don't want to do the advanced research route, there is a 1-year option for all of these courses. So if you'd rather take that option than the advanced research route, you should get in touch with the International Student Support Team as soon as you know that you won't be doing a placement or advanced research, as this will have implications again on your visa, as you would only be needing a 1-year visa if that was the case, as opposed to the 2-year visa you would have at the time. So what support is there from the careers team? So we have a careers team based on both of our campuses, available to students throughout the weekday working hours. And students also have access to online career facilities 24/7, including appointment booking, online resources, and job search engines that are all really, really useful. In person, the team can help in numerous ways. So things like CV help, interview preparation, placement search support, that sort of thing. And one of the things that the careers team really does advise before sending off any CVs or cover letters is to really make use of these services. They've told me that they've had students that submit 40 generic applications to companies and hear nothing back or don't get anywhere. And so it's not always about the quantity of applications that you send out. It is largely about the quality. It is obviously good to apply to a good number of companies, but it's also equally important to make sure you've done your research and have tailored your application to the company. They also run workshops, including a subject-specific placement workshop for computer science. We obviously run a number of computer science-related postgraduate courses offering placement. So this is a 10-week module which you can take part in. And the generic workshops can help you develop skills like LinkedIn skills, commercial awareness, public speaking, and also give you access to things like psychometric tests. So the placement search. So ultimately, it is your responsibility to find a placement, despite the fact we can support you in your application and everything like that. Ultimately, it is down to you. We're unfortunately unable to provide placements for students, and applying early really is key. So think about looking to apply to placements as soon as you join the university in September, as that time period from September to May really does fly by, especially when you're studying. I'm sure you're all well aware of that. It's also worth considering researching placement programs before you even start your course. So if you are due to be joining us in our autumn entry point, then there's no harm in looking now, again, on job websites like LinkedIn or Indeed, about what placement opportunities are out there. And as well, a lot of the big companies do recruit early as well. So that is also why it's really important to see what entry points for, or see what application dates there are for the bigger companies out there that you might be interested in working for on your placement year.